What if the reason you can't find a way through your problems is that you've been trying to solve them in the dark, and there's a light switch you didn't know existed? I want to talk about a specific kind of tiredness, not the tiredness of doing too much, the tiredness of thinking too much about something you can't put down, the conversation you keep replaying, the decision you keep relitigating, the version of yourself you keep defending in your head to people who aren't even in the room. Here's what we're going to look at today. There are two ideas that belong together, and most of us never put them together. The first, real shifts in how we feel, the kind that actually change something, only show up when we stop trying to see our situation through our usual fear-tinted lens. And the second, clarity and inner strength aren't two separate things we have to go hunting for. They arrive together. They're the same arrival. Most of us are exhausting ourselves trying to muscle through difficulty, not realizing the struggle itself is a symptom of trying to read in the dark. That's what I want to unpack. Not as a belief, as something you can actually test in your own life this week. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is composite. She's me. She's probably you. She's most of the people I know. 3 days ago, Sarah was in a meeting. Her manager said something, one sentence, that landed wrong. It felt dismissive. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. The meeting ended. Everyone moved on. Except Sarah. For 3 days, Sarah has been running a courtroom in her head. She's the prosecutor. Here's what he meant. Here's the pattern. Here's what it says about her future at this company. She's the defense. Here's what she should have said. Here's the perfect comeback she thought of in the shower. Here's how she'll bring it up in their next one-on-one. She's the judge. She's the jury. She's also, somehow, the defendant. She's distracted at dinner. Her partner asks if she's okay and she says yeah. Fine. Just work stuff. She's not sleeping well. At 2 a.m., she's rewriting the meeting again. Sharper this time. More articulate. Finally winning. And here's the part one want you to notice. Sarah isn't actually dealing with her manager. Her manager is at home, probably watching TV, having forgotten the whole thing. Sarah is dealing with a version of her manager that lives entirely inside her own head, and she's losing to it. This is what it looks like to try to read a map in a pitch-black room. You squint. You strain. You argue with yourself about which way to go. And the harder you try, the more lost you feel. You start to think the problem is the map, or your sense of direction, or your intelligence. You don't think, maybe the problem is that the lights are off. So let's name the darkness. Because if we don't name it, we can't catch it running. The darkness isn't your situation. It isn't your manager, your partner, your bank account, your body, your past. The darkness is the automatic, fear-filtered interpretation that runs before you even choose it. It's the lens that takes a neutral sentence in a meeting and converts it into evidence of your professional doom. It's the lens that takes a short text from someone you love and turns it into a referendum on the relationship. This lens runs in the background. It feels like thinking. It feels like being responsible. It feels like preparing. But notice what it actually does. It eats your energy. It crowds out your sleep. It pulls you out of every room you're physically in. It does not, in fact, solve anything. And here's the strange part. We've come to trust it. We think this frantic, looping mental effort is what coping looks like. We think if we stopped, something terrible would happen. We confuse the squinting with the seeing. Now here's where it turns. The shift we're pointing at isn't, think harder. It isn't, find the right answer. It isn't, figure out what your manager really meant. The shift is much smaller and much stranger. It's a willingness to admit, for one honest second, that the lens we're looking through right now might not be showing us what's actually there. That's it. That's the light switch. It's not a positive reframe. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's something humbler. I don't actually know what this means yet. I've been arguing with a shadow I'm casting myself. And here's the second piece, the part most people miss. When that little bit of light comes in, it doesn't arrive alone. It arrives with something underneath it. A kind of steadiness, a groundedness that has nothing to do with having figured anything out. You haven't solved your situation. You've just stopped fighting your own projection of it. And in that small clearing, you notice, you were never as fragile as the dark made you feel. Clarity and strength, it turns out, aren't two different errands. They're the same arrival. The light that lets you see is also the floor under your feet. Let's go back to Sarah. It's morning 4. She's making coffee. The replay starts again. There he goes, saying that thing. Here we go. And then, almost by accident, something quiet happens. She catches herself mid-sentence in her own head and a thought arrives that isn't part of the script. I don't actually know what he meant. Not as a strategy. Not as a technique. Just honestly, she doesn't know. She's been performing certainty about something she has no real information about. And the story pauses. Just for a moment. The courtroom goes quiet. In that pause, and this is the part she'll remember, something she hasn't felt in 3 days shows up in her body. A kind of quiet. Not relief exactly, more like the feeling of putting down something heavy and realizing only afterward how heavy it was. Her shoulders drop half an inch. Her breath goes a little deeper without her trying. She hasn't fixed anything. The conversation with her manager still needs to happen. Or doesn't. The situation is exactly what it was. But she can see it now. And from seeing it, she can actually choose what to do, instead of reacting to a phantom she built at 2 a.m. That's the whole thing. That's what this is pointing at. So here's where we land. You don't have to earn your way to clarity through more suffering. You don't have to think harder, replay longer, prepare more thoroughly, build a stronger case. The clarity isn't on the other side of the exhaustion. The exhaustion is the symptom of trying to see without light. The practice this week, if you want one, is almost embarrassingly simple. When you catch yourself in the courtroom, running the case for the 18th time, try one sentence. I don't actually know what this means yet. And then notice what happens in the next 10 seconds. Notice if something in your chest unclenches, even a little. Notice if a steadiness shows up that you weren't expecting. You're not giving up. You're not going soft. You're flipping a switch you didn't know was there. The map was always readable. The room was always navigable. The strength was always under your feet. We just needed the lights on to notice. Let's take a few minutes now and let this settle somewhere deeper than thinking. Before we move into the meditation, if this is helping you, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe. It's a simple way to keep practicing together. Let's settle in. Find a position where your body can rest. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let your jaw soften. There's nothing to perform here. Take a slow breath in, and a slower breath out. Notice where you are right now, the weight of you in the chair, the sound of the room, the temperature of the air on your skin. You don't have to do anything with any of it, just let it be here. Another breath. In and out. Now, gently bring to mind whatever's been running in the background today. The conversation you keep replaying. The decision you keep turning over. The thing you've been arguing with in your head. You don't have to solve it. You don't have to push it away. Just notice it's there, and quietly, in your own time, offer yourself this. I don't actually know what this means yet. Let that sentence land. Not as defeat, as honesty. Notice if anything softens, a small place in your chest, the space behind your eyes, the grip in your hands. You've been trying to read in the dark. You can rest from that now. Just for a few minutes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel the floor under your feet, or the seat beneath you. Something is holding you up that you didn't have to build. Something steady was already here. You don't have to figure anything out in this moment. You don't have to be anywhere else. You don't have to be anyone else. Let the room be the room. Let your thoughts be thoughts. Let the steadiness rise up underneath all of it, the way it always could. The moment you stopped fighting. Another breath. In and out. Notice how little effort this is taking. Notice that the quiet was never far away. When you're ready, let your attention widen. Hear the sounds around you again. Feel your hands, your feet. Let your eyes open softly if they've been closed. Bring this steadiness with you. It's not something you found. It was always here. You just turned on the light. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a free digital copy of A Course in Miracles available through the link in the description. You're also welcome to leave a simple comment such as, "I am grateful. Thank you for spending this time here." If something landed today, let it stay light. You don't have to do anything heroic with it. Just notice, this week, the small moments when you catch yourself arguing in the dark. And remember, the switch is closer than you think. Be gentle with yourself out there. I'll see you next time.